Afternoon, folks. How's your Monday going? Hopefully well. Hopefully Mr. Murphy has managed to bypass your day and not shit on your parade. It's always nice when that happens, right? I thought we would chew through some headlines. There's a fairly large amount of shit going down. Last video I put up was the Adios RBG thing. RGB, whatever the fuck her name was. And in it, I said I didn't think Trump was going to be picking the SCOTUS replacement because he would basically energize his base. Not his base, but the Democrats up. And I am wrong. Apparently he's going to. I'm completely okay with that. I had this shirt on today, the Cocaine Mitch shirt, because I thought Mitch was going to step up and get it done, but Trump's down to 5 picks, and he will not announce until Friday or Saturday who they are going to be. So we get to wait all week while people speculate. The other thing is, I was watching stuff over the weekend, and Ted Cruz, pretty smart guy, decent on the Constitution, related the story of the Bush-Gore election in Florida with the hanging chads. And he said, if we don't have 9 justices sitting and we only have 8, what's going to happen is after they, paraphrasing, after they defraud the election and they decide that the en bloc vote of the 12th Amendment is negated because Orange Man's bad, they're going to want to send it up to the Supreme Court, and if you have a 4-4 split, nothing will ever get done, which leaves Skeletor back in power. No bueno. So, I was wrong. Ted Cruz was right. Then again, he's a hell of a lot smarter than I am, and it's his friggin' job to know this shit. So, hopefully Trump will do the right thing and pick the right person, because we know in the first couple of years he was just dredging up creatures out of the swamp, because that's what you have in that supermarket is the swamp creatures, the denizens that dwell in D.C. So let's go with this. I thought this one was freaking awesome. Justice Department brands New York City, Seattle, and Portland as anarchist jurisdictions, and is now saying, we're not giving you any money. And I thought that was really interesting because of the reasoning behind it. You see, we dump a lot of money into these cities, and they're run by Democrats, and what they do is, allegedly, and this is just my speculation, a lot of that money gets pissed away, if not out and out pocketed. De Blasio's wife needs a $2 million staff for fucking what? Because she's special? She married him. Oh, she's special, all right. I'm surprised they let her out of the house without a helmet on. The argument being, the mayors and the governors, quite literally, in their oath, their job is to be the shepherd. Their job is to look out for the best interests of all citizens of their jurisdictions, regardless of race, creed, color, religion, sexual orientation, blah, 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 blah. Basically, your job is to be the executive of the state, to run the state well, and to make sure that everyone is safe and happy and prosperous. That's just kind of literally it in a nutshell. Well, when you defund the police and you allow unchecked rioting and looting and all the other crapola that's going on in these shitholes, well, then you violated your oath. You didn't uphold your end. What do you mean they can't go to church, but they can form giant packs in the street and roam and riot and loot and burn? That's okay. Remember, that's not covered in the Constitution. Peaceful protests are. But the things that are covered in the Constitution, like freedom to worship, no. So after repeatedly violating their oaths and putting their citizenry at risk from defunding their police forces and whatnot, the Fed said, well, fuck you, we're not funding you anymore. You're not playing by the rules. We're not paying you to not play by the rules. I think it's brilliant, a masterstroke. I am 110% behind it. Then again, I said that a while ago, so. Oh, I'm dying here. They're killing me. Trump says Supreme Court announcement likely Friday or Saturday. His list is down to 5. But we all know that the big 2 are Amy Coney Barrett, and then, oh, well, you know what? They do give us a list. Here we go. The president's shortlist is said to include Judge Amy Coney Barrett of the U.S. Court of Appeals for the 7th Circuit, Judge Barbara Lagoa of the U.S. Court of Appeals for the 11th Circuit, and Judge Allison Jones Rushing of the U.S. Court of Appeals for the 4th Circuit. Gee, I wonder why it's so gynocentric. The president touted the list of potential picks, calling them all excellent and all very smart. No matter how you look at it, these are the finest people in the nation. Young people, pretty young for the most part. Oh, did he say pretty? Sexist. Barrett's 48, Lagoa is 52, and Rushing is 38. It is unclear the age of the president's other potential nominees. And there's your top 3, folks. You know he wants to put a woman in there. I actually have no real stance on this. From what I understand, Coney Barrett's pretty strong on 2A, and since she has 7 kids, I get the feeling she's not really much of an abortion supporter. Apparently, she's had her own and adopted. So she likes children in a different way than Joe Biden does. She likes children in a wholesome way. Allegedly. As far as Lagoa's Cuban descent, I want to say. So he gets the woman of color and the woman whatever, the female. So he gets those badges. I don't know. I'll have to look to see how conservative she is, what she is on 2A, what she is on abortion. Doesn't matter, because he could pick Jesus for the next Supreme Court justice. Wouldn't be good enough. But if he picked Muhammad, that'd be a shoo-in for the Dems. The BLM mob hits rural America. BLM blocks entrance to Bigfoot school in rural Wisconsin. Well, now I'm thinking it's time for these kids to be able to start putting shotgun racks back in the back window of their trucks. Done. You know, in the old days, like when I first came out here back in the early 90s, and you went by the schoolyard, you went by the parking lot for the high school and stuff, pickup truck, shotgun racks, kids would go hunting in the morning, go for dove and stuff. And then go to school. Nobody ever fucked with their gear. Nobody ever shot up a school. None of this shit happened until the lefties lost their fucking mind at the sight of a gun made them feel uncomfortable. On Monday morning, rural Bigfoot High School in rural Wisconsin. Well, you didn't need rural in there twice, fellas, but hey, I'm not fucking writing this article. Woke up to a BLM assault on their school. The Black Lives Matter mob TP'd the school grounds and blocked the entrance to the high school. Not going to make the TP and blocked joke, although I could. I will tell you that the best way to clear that blockage, though, might come in various gauges, including 12. We did DOJ announces New York, Portland, and Seattle, anarchist jurisdictions, first step to cutting federal funding. DOJ said the cities have permitted violence and destruction of property to persist and have refused to undertake reasonable measures to counteract criminal activities. Okay. Play stupid games. Win no federal dollars. You know, on kind of the same note, since people don't understand how this actually works, Madrid asked for Spanish army's help in battling coronavirus surge. Does anybody not see what a really bad idea that is? They literally are calling in the federales. Madrid's regional government chief requested the army's help on Monday in fighting the coronavirus surge in the Spanish capital, where local authorities ordered a partial lockdown of some of the poorer districts, prompting protests. Go fucking figure. At the height of the first wave of the pandemic in March-April, Spain deployed thousands of troops to help civilian authorities contain the outbreak. Get in a boxcar. It's time for your trip to camp. That's what's going to happen in these fucking third world shitholes. What do you think happens in Portland when the police are gone and anarchy reigns? The problem is, you're not a foreign country. You're still part of the United States of America. And you won't be able to vote for secession to leave. That's no fucking happening. I am not a big government overreach guy. Excuse me, let me blow my nose. But I am just going to say on this one, the government should authorize free vacations to any of the socialist paradises around the planet that these assholes want to go to. Granted, it's a one-way ticket, but you're not happy here. You don't like how things go here. Your chicken tendies aren't tendy enough for something here. Venezuela needs help. They need to rebuild. Workers' economy. Go. The fucking road. Ginsburg in 2016. Nothing in the Constitution prevents the president from the final year. Nothing. English. It's these people's native languages. They're fucking killing me here, folks. Ginsburg in 2016. Nothing in the Constitution prevents the president from appointing a SCOTUS pick in his final year. The president is the president till the last day of his term. Oops. Now, obviously, she doesn't give a shit that she said that because she did. But the Democrats, little itty bitty meltdown. And their big argument is, well, they told Obama he couldn't. No, folks. Nobody told Obama he couldn't nominate somebody. He nominated Merrick Garland. He just didn't have the Senate vote to get it through. See, that's how it works. The president nominates, and the Senate confirms. Yes or no. I think Trump is a little tight right now. He needs 51, thanks to not Mitch McConnell, but Harry Reid. It's the Democrat version of Mitch McConnell, until they retired. May he rot in peace somewhere. Harry Reid took the nuclear option out. Otherwise, Trump would need 60. 60. But instead, it was more important to get Sotomayor and Kagan on there. I'm going to have to look, but one of them isn't even a fucking judge. I guess you don't really need to be a Supreme Court justice, although since you make them wear the robes and argue law. What do I know, folks? GOP lawmakers introduce Hold Rioters Accountable Act. Pelosi, the Democrats, and George Soros are hit the hardest. For months now, violent Black Lives Matter and Antifa leftists have been rioting in cities across the country. The riots have caused at least $1 billion in damages across the country. I'm old. We used to get hit when you didn't pay attention in class. We should go back to that. In Minneapolis alone, 1,500 businesses were damaged or destroyed in summer rioting. At least they stopped going on peaceful protests. What is worse is that several districts of... I have to stop doing these sober, folks. I can't speak when I'm friggin' sober. That's how bad this is getting. Let's try it again. What's worse is that several district attorneys are releasing the rioters and looters back out onto the street without any harsh punishments. What? I'm not going to go there. I don't want to get hit with an anti-Semitism tag on my fucking thing. Follow the money? Can we play follow the money? Because that seems to work. Seems to hold up most of the time. That's why, as a trope, follow the money's a real thing. Many of these prosecutors were funded by George Soros' organizations during their campaigns. And remember, George Soros has a lot of organizations because George Soros has a lot of money. And then they slap happy names on them. So, there's a infographic here, as it were. In Washington, 680K. In Clark County, Nevada, 1.2 M. In San Diego, 1.5 M. In Phoenix, 1.39 M. Motherfucker needs to be executed. Jefferson County, Colorado, 50K. Bernalillo County in New Mexico, 107K. St. Louis, Missouri, 190K. Caddo Parish, 930K. St. Louis gets less money than Caddo Parish? Where the fuck is Caddo Parish? Harris County, 1.024 million. You'll notice that he's spending the big money on that Southwest swing because he wants all those fucking California tards to come out here and infect the desert Southwest with their cancer. The cancer of libtardism. Hines, Clay, Lowndes, Noxubee, and Oktibbeha only got 382,000, and that's like Mississippi and Louisiana and those little Gulf states. Henry County, 145K. Orlando, 1.4 M. Yeah, got to flip Florida. Florida's got to go Biden, man. Fairfax, Arlington, and Portsmouth, 1.086 mil. Philly got 1.7 mil, and Brooklyn got $20,000. Well, obviously, Brooklyn's lost, and he didn't have to spend any money there because Brooklyn's fucked. That's my hometown, folks. Brooklyn used to be a nice place. It also used to be the toughest city in the fucking country, let alone the world. But that ship sailed with fucking rainbow unicorn piss, maca frupa, lotta chinos, or whatever the fuck those idiots drink with their man buns. Anyway, as we can see, Mr. George is paying for an awful lot of people who agree with his policies to be put into district attorney's offices so that they can take the rioters and send them out loose again. The problem is, George, between us and Texas is New Mexico. In New Mexico, there's some people in New Mexico aren't really fond of the Democrats, but they're basically goat fucked because all the Californians from the last wave took over the larger cities. But once you get into the larger cities, protesters are just viewed as what they are, vermin and varmints, and they have strict shoot and shovel policies when it comes to coyotes and things like that out there, sort of like here and sort of like Texas, which is what the policy should be. Today, U.S. Congressman Debbie Lesko, Arizona District 8 and ranking member of the House Committee on the Judiciary, Jim Jordan, Republican, Ohio District 4, introduced the Holding Rioters Accountable Act of 2020 to hold the rioters responsible for destruction for destruction across our nation accountable for their actions and ensure local officials do not turn a blind eye to the chaos in our cities. I'm no English teacher, man. We have laws in our country for a reason, and if cities and states choose not to uphold them, they should not be rewarded with money from federal grants, said Congressman Lesko following the introduction of the bill. I hope this bill will incentivize cities and states to follow the law and hold rioters accountable. There is no place in our nation for this lawlessness. That's not true. While these people are basically useless on an economic scale, the rioters, most of your politicians as well, they can be used as compost. For all those trees that burnt down, because Antifa didn't do that, because Antifa doesn't exist. Antifa's like Bigfoot and unicorns. It's not real. All that plant matter is going to need vitamins and minerals and proteins, and I think the best way to re-enrich that soil where you're going to plant new trees so we can grow new forests and incidentally diversify the forests as much as possible, please. Might be with some composted peaceful protesters and their politician supporters. And you know what? It seems like we've got a lot of district attorneys. We could volunteer them too. Just saying. Momentum Trump. Based on attendees at both President Trump and Biden's events, it's not even a race. Trump is crushing Biden, and yet they continue to push those fake polls. Remember Hillary was 99-1 to win? Oops. Anyway, that's the last story, and we're at 22 minutes, so we're going to wrap it up. Thanks for popping in, folks. I appreciate you stopping by. New folks, thanks for swinging by. Holy shit, FBI agent who uncovered Weiner's laptop with Hillary's emails, not to mention pictures of Anthony's wiener, says FBI leadership told him to erase all of his findings. John Robertson is not long for this fucking planet. Poor guy. Yeah, at least he came forward and he's a fucking man. All right. I will catch you on the next one, folks. Stay safe. Have a good Monday. Keep that umbrella handy in case Mr. Murphy decides to fly by. All right. See you on the next one. Let's go.